押Minka Folk Village Museum is located on Mount Usagoe, one of the 3 mountains standing in central Fukui City. This museum's name is based on the old name of Mount Usagoe. There are 5 traditional folk houses and 1 Itakura wooden warehouse have been relocated and restored. Each of them is a cultural property designated by Fukui City. The oldest one was built about 300 years ago, and even the youngest is about 150 years old in the Edo period. Each house tells a story about the climate in which it was built and the people who lived in it. We will introduce to you the unique aspects of each folk house. The former residence of the Jochi family is from Ono City to the southeast of Fukui. The Jochi family has served as shoya village headmen during the Edo period. The ink writing on one of the middle pillars says that this house was built in 1852. The roof is thatched. The height of the house from the ground to the roof's eaves was also taller to prevent it from being completely buried under heavy snowfall. In the front half of this house, there are an earthen floor and kitchen space. This earthen floor space is called the niwa, and is where people can work indoors. The kitchen is actually more like a living room where family had meals and relaxed. In the center of the kitchen is a fireplace called the irori, which came with its own set of protocols concerning seating positions. The back half of the house has 5 tatami rooms arranged in the shape of a square. Each of the rooms is a whopping 12.5 tatami mats in size. The pillars and beams are thick and solid. The middle pillar is made of zelkova and is 36.36 centimeters thick and 7.24 meters tall, meaning this house is one of the largest folk houses in Fukui Prefecture. The former residence of the Okamoto family is from Wakasa town in the Reinan region of the western part of Fukui Prefecture. The Okamoto family also served as shoya during the Edo period. The ink writing on one of the pillars was done in 1784, the middle of the Edo period, and the fine details of the veranda indicate that it was built in the first half of the 18th century. Unlike the Jochi folk house, this one comes from a region with relatively low snowfall, and thus its pillars are thinner and its height between the roof's eaves and the floor is shorter. Also, an earthen warehouse used to store rice bales and other things was relocated along with this house. The former residence of the Tsuchiya family is from Awara City, located in the northern part of Reihoku region. The Tsuchiya family also served as shoya during the Edo period. It is said that this house was built about 150 years ago. In the Niwa earthen floor working space is a display exhibiting rice hulling. At the time, human excrement was used as an important fertilizer, so toilets were built in a separate building for storage and decomposition. The former residence of the Minowa family was built in Echizen City, which is located southwest of Fukui City. The Minowa family also served as shoya during the Edo period. This house is thought to have been built in the first half of the 18th century, and that after that, it was expanded repeatedly before reaching its current form. As evidence of these expansions, 2 pillars of old and new stand side by side at the border of the room. The former residence of the Umeda family is from Jo-Kyoji-cho, Fukui City. In addition to the rice production, the Umeda family had a business, lacquer tapping, in which sap from lacquer trees is collected to make lacquerware. The Umeda led their group of lacquer tappers and amassed a fortune selling lacquer gathered from as far away as the Kanto region. Some old documents indicate that this house was built in between 1830 and 1847. In this house, the wooden boards of the wall between the Buddhist altar were made detachable so that the altar could be taken out quickly in the event of a fire. This shows that the Buddhist altar was very carefully taken care of. The former Itakura of the Yamashita family is said to have been built in Katsuyama City's Kita-Dani-cho, located east of Fukui City in the latter half of the Edo period. In mountain villages abundant in timber, earthen warehouses are overshadowed by Itakura wooden warehouses. Itakura are very vulnerable to fire, and so, as a preventative measure, were built together away from the rest of the village. Every folk house in this museum was built from around 150 to 300 years ago, and people actually lived in them until about 40 years ago. Knowing the lifestyles of the past will be helpful in considering our lives now and in the future. Please come to押越民房園Folk Village Museum and experience traditional folk house history.